to the fucking show.
Hey, folks, how you guys doing? It's Will Patterson here live on Redline Radio, Tight In, Loose Out. As you guys can see, I started hanging up some pictures and getting my studio back in line. So I hope you guys all enjoy everything that I got going on there. It's, you know, we're working over here. We're trying to go ahead and get it going. And I am very, very excited about the guest we're going to have on today. This honestly, honest to God, folks, this means a lot to me. It really does to have this guy on. This is going to be lots and lots of fun. And I hope you guys enjoy this as just as much as I'm going to enjoy this show today. We had a lot of racing over the weekend, and this is going to be a really, really fun episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. Is anybody seeing my co-host? Oh, there he is right there. Mr. Dynamite, Dave Wallencheck. Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
There's my boy. So what's going on, Dave, man? How was your weekend, brother?
Oh, Willie, as always, my weekend over the last few weeks have been really busy. Happy for that. Had some new things at the studio I had to do. Got some new shows. Did some a little bit of technical work up there. But, man, it was a good weekend. Sunday, what did I do Sunday? Sunday I did something, but I cannot remember. But, hey, at least the weather's been good, and we're a couple weeks away from racing over here at Lorain County Speedway. That's a positive.
That is huge news. And, you know, I can't stress this enough for everybody that, you know, that lives in the Northeast Ohio area. Please, folks, please get over to Lorain County Speedway. I know that it's going to probably not be the super modifieds that you want to see, but you guys have to play the long game on this, because if you guys aren't there to support it, they're not going to be there next year in your backyard, and you're going to have to travel down to Midvale or Toledo or Lancaster or wherever to go watch these guys race. And it's people, come on, give me a break. And if I lived there, I'm telling you guys, I would definitely be there to support it. You know, go ahead, Dave.
And like we said last week, we didn't mean to jump on you guys last week, but listen.
Oh, no, I did. No,
I was going to say, just kidding. We want you to get to the racetrack, go support the racetrack. Quit crying on Facebook about how much it is to get into the grandstands and how much it is to get in the pits. We understand it's a little bit more. You guys asked for it. You wanted it to open. They delivered. Now it's up to us as race fans, race car drivers, to get our asses to the racetrack and support the track. Whether you like it or not, go there for once in your life, keep your mouth shut, and enjoy the races. Because you never know, after this three scheduled event, you don't know what the future holds. So you don't know. So go to the track, support it. Get to Lorain County Speedway, support it. Doesn't matter who owns it. Go support the racetrack and quit crying on Facebook about prices of what it is to get into the track. They got free practice on Sunday, I think it is, or Wednesday. You guys want to go see some cars and smell the octane fuel out there, the racing fuel out there at Lorain County Speedway, then go do it. Go spend your $10, get in the pits, get up close and personal to the drivers. And again, $10 gets you in the pits on practice night. Now, I'm going to stress that. It's practice night to get you in at $10. I'm not saying that for Saturday nights. $10 on practice, which is Wednesdays. So pay attention to Lorain County Speedway's Facebook page, but just get to the track, support them, and support everything they do for the next three events that they have.
Yeah, because I'm telling you guys right now, you guys are going to go ahead and miss out on a good thing. And I really need all you guys, all my super modified fans up there in Ohio, Northeast Ohio. Please get out there, support this race, please. I beg you. If there's ever a favor that you guys have ever owed me, you guys can collect on that favor just by going to support this track this weekend, or the weekend that they're racing. I would just so appreciate it. I really would. And it just, God, man, I'm telling you guys, uh, I don't even know how to even explain it. I really don't. Just it's an emotional thing. It really is. I've grown up 8 miles away from that track. It's something that really needs to happen. And before we go ahead and get here on our tangents, folks, please like the show, like Tight End Loose Out, like Redline Radio LLC, like it, love it, do all that stuff. You got be mad at it, And if you guys could, I'd appreciate if you guys shared the show. The shares are way down. I know you guys don't like to hit the share button, but please, if you guys could just share the show. What the hell is it going to hurt? So let everybody know about this great show that we have. And a correction, I thought I was the only super modified podcast, but apparently now the other super modified talk show that we have out there is no longer a radio show. It is a podcast. So I want to apologize and say that I am not the only super modified podcast in the world. There is two of us. So if you guys,
you know what, Willie, you know what, they can be second because we are number one.
I agree, Dave. Yes, I agree. I don't know what his ratings are, and I talked to him I talked to him last year at Oswego, and he's a really, really nice man. And we had a great conversation. We talked about maybe even doing some collaborative stuff. So I'm going to reach out to him. Maybe I can get him to sit down with me at Oswego Classic when I go live from the bar on Wednesday night. That we're not going to screw up this year, Dave. Oh, yeah. And speaking of bars, what you got there in your hand, Dave?
Listen, I got the official beer of Redline Radio, Redline Network, and everything Redline. Outlaw beer. I'm telling you guys need to go out and get this. Willie, I know I called you yesterday. They sell them in all Circle K's in the state of Florida. All Circle K's they're sold. So stock up some Outlaw light beer. What you can do is you're going to put yourself, how you want to win free beer is you take a picture of yourself with this can right here, Outlaw Light. You tag Outlaw Light. You're going to tag Redline Radio. Then we'll put you in a drawing to win some free beer. No matter where you're at, we'll send you some gift cards or whatever. I talked to Corey. We'll figure something out. We'll send it to you. We'll get you some free beer. But Outlaw Light is the official beer sponsor of Redline Radio. So make sure you guys check them out. Go give them a like. Go give them a follow too. And they're giving away a free pair of custom-made tennis shoes with this logo right here. That's behind me.
That would be badass.
And they are powder blue. So make sure you guys go check out their page, Outlaw Light, on Facebook. Go like their giveaway or get in their giveaway for to win the shoes. But again, hey, make sure you guys check it out. Outlaw Light, the official beer of Redline Radio.
Okay. All right. Well, looks like we got Carrie Groom watching right now. We got Sandy Swift Downey watching. So that's good. We got a couple people. Here, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Michael, where's that comment? Where's those comments coming in from, Dave?
So Michael's coming in from YouTube. He's watching us on YouTube. Thank you for watching us on YouTube.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, Sandy is watching us on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Moose is watching us, and I can't tell where everybody else is watching from because
I can't see Moose. Has Moose made a comment yet? That's my boy Moose.
Moose is online watching.
Okay, Moose is online watching. All right, my boy Moose.
So wherever you're watching from, there's about 18 of us right now, or 18 of them right now. Please just go in the chat real quick and let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching, you want to build that YouTube channel up, and especially if you're on the YouTube side, please go subscribe to Redline Network on YouTube and give us a like on there and a follow on there as well. We appreciate that. This is what the logo looks like right here. Right on YouTube. So make sure you guys go look at that. We're going to starting to hit that pretty hard. And Willie, I don't know if you know this, but have you been paying attention to the Redline Network page?
Yes. Were you talking about the studio with the lettering or what?
Not bad, but you do know that we are going to be on Roku starting in August. So stay tuned to that. We'll be on Roku, which will mean that you guys will have to pay for a subscription for the Redline Network. So
Huh.
We're doing some big things.
We still will have it free on here, folks. All right. But if you guys want to listen to more other types of radio, check it out on Roku. I did not know about this. So we could actually go ahead and be syndicated. And, a lot of more people might be able to, our reach might go out further to the masses. Might go international.
You're still going to be able to watch us here for free. So don't get all worked up that you got to pay for a subscription.
Right. Because quiet as crap, people. I just found out about this myself. So,
I thought you pay attention to the page, and I wanted.
I do, but that slipped between the cracks, So I apologize.
So Bambi's from Medina, Ohio.
Yes, that is Doug. That is actually Doug's wife. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And Tyrone Thomas is Doug's hometown hero, Navarre, Ohio.
Yep. I've driven through that city. I can't tell you how many times to go down and visit my family down in Cambridge, Ohio. And I was always like, this is where Doug Saunier's from. I'm trying to remember the name of the bread company that's there in Navarre. I know Doug will be able to remember. But yeah. And the whole town smells like the bread company. It's not, oh my God, I forgot. I think it's Wonder. It might be Wonder Bread. They have a Wonder Bread company there in Navarre. So, yeah. So, Doug will be able to go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But, yeah, we used to take 21 down there and avoid 77. We just didn't. We'd like to take the back roads down to go see our family down there in Cambridge. And Nichols, that's it. Nichols Bread. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's Nichols Bread. That's where it is. The whole damn Tyrone says Schwebel. Which one is it? It might be Schwebel. I don't know. So yeah, but yeah. So let's see here. What else was there to talk about, Dave? Good weekend. I had a good weekend. I got a Schwebel. It's not Schwebel. It's Schwebel. Yeah. So I've been out of Ohio for a minute, folks. I'm sorry. We don't have that down here in Florida. But no, I have to go up to Cordele, Georgia, help out it's Bambi says it's Nichols. It's Nichols. Okay. Everybody's saying Nichols now.
And I can see Doug off camera. He's saying, yes, it's Nichols.
Okay. All right. It's Nichols. But yeah, so I got to go up to Cordele, Georgia for super late model race this weekend. So I'm leaving on Friday morning. Get up there. Larry Gibson says hello. Larry, we're going to be talking about your guys' awesome race that you guys had up in Lancaster. But before we do that, this is going to be, as I like to call it, the Jason Kingsley get up and grab your drink segment. Because guess what, Dave? We're going to talk about the people that pay the bills. Let's roll them sponsors, Dave.
Here we go.
All right, folks. Welcome to the Fisher Custom Printing Studio. As you guys can see, they made this awesome banner for me back here behind me. Fisher Custom Printing does banners. They do T-shirts. They do vinyl lettering for your business, for your car, or even for your race car. So if you have any type of lettering that you might need or any type of marketing material that you might need, go ahead and give Fisher Custom Printing a call. Their phone number is 440-371-8424. Go ahead and get a hold of Clay and Bethany. Tell them the show sent you. I'm telling you, you get that discount. Next. Oh, we got Lenny Fowler Bush Trimming Service. Nobody trims the bush like the big Lenny. He gets in there nice and deep like. Lenny Fowler Bush Trimming Service, based out of Oswego, New York. Then you got the Cruiser. I'm telling you guys got to get a hold of Randy Riskus. Doug might even have one of those koozies too that Mike McVetta got from Randy Riskus. This guy's making koozies. Oh yeah. And by the way, folks, look what I got up. He made me that. That's a clock right there, people. That's an awesome kick-ass clock right there. I'm going to kind of sit off over here to the side so you guys can see it. But yeah, he also makes clocks also too. So, and they're functional and they work. So go ahead and get a hold of Randy Riskus over at Coozer. He's got a Facebook page. He's making all sorts of cool things for race fans. Then you got Atkins Glass. Atkins Glass is based out of Sandusky, Ohio. They take care of all your automotive and RV auto glass needs. Their phone number is 419-625-8421. Get a hold of Randall and Courtney. Tell them Tight End Loose Out sent you. And then you got Al A.J. Miller, Team Gunslinger, owner of the number 69 350 Super Modified. Looks like they had a decent weekend up there in Lancaster. We'll have to go ahead and have to look at the reports of that. But want to thank Al Miller Racing and the whole Gunslinger race team for being a part of this show and being one of the first sponsors that come aboard on here. So thank you, Al. Appreciate you, brother. Then you got Lifetime Roofing, expert roofing contractors based out of Fulton, New York. Phone number 315-297-4589. Now, you guys have been getting a lot of rain up there in that Oswego, New York area. I'm telling you, if you guys got any leaks or anything like that, get a hold of Lifetime Roofing. These people will take good care of you. Let them know that the show sent you. And you got JC's Custom Woodworking. Nobody plays with their wood like the big JC. He's based out of Hannibal, New York. And folks, I know I have a lot of gimmicky, funny sponsors. This is a real one right here. He has his own Facebook page. He makes beautiful cornhole boards. He makes planters. Folks, I'm telling you right now, go over to Facebook after the show, not during, okay? Check out JC's Custom Woodworking Facebook page. He does raffles every single week, like $5 raffles. You guys can win some beautiful type of woodworking that he does. He does it all. I'm telling you, get a hold of JC. Good dude. Take good care of you. Then you got Reinhardt Kingsley's Mowing, based out of Oswego, New York. Phone number 315-751-1160. Takes care of all your landscaping needs. No, he does not take care of all your landscaping needs. He told me this. He only cuts your grass and he'll trim it, but he ain't planting bushes. All right. You call Lenny Fowler bush trimming services for that. He'll plant your bushes. He'll get in there nice and deep, but Jason Kingsley, he's only going to cut your grass, but he does a really good job. I promise you guys. Let him know that the show sent you. I appreciate it. Then you got Big Jim's Golf Cart Taxi Service, based out of Oswego, New York. Nobody gets around town like the Big Jim. So if you guys are down there in the flats and you guys don't want to walk the hill to get up there to the racetrack, get a hold of Big Jim, because nobody gets around town like Big Jim. Just don't leave your girlfriend or wife with them. Oswego Storage Ports, secure, reliable, and dry. Address 74 Mitchell Street. Phone number 315-216-7726. Or go to the website, OswegoStoragePorts.com. It's right there, it's maybe about 2 miles away from the racetrack, people. So if you guys are planning on moving, the garage is a little bit full, go over to Oswego Storage Ports. Let them know the Tight End Loose Out sent you. I would appreciate it, and they would appreciate the business. Rupert's Party Rentals, based out of Fulton, New York. They got tents, they got tables, they got chairs, they got dunk tanks, they got bounce houses, they got all that type of fun stuff that you're going to need for an outdoor party or reception, wedding. I know it's that time. Graduation parties, I know they're still going on right now. If you're not getting a hold of Rupert's Party Rentals, then you're just throwing away your freaking money. I'm telling you right now, he's going to cut you a really good deal. His phone number is 315-532-4304. That's Rupert's Party Rentals. And tell him Tight End Loose Out sent you. Then you got Big Chief's Tax Service. Nobody cooks the books like the Big Chief, based out of Oswego, New York. Big Greg Calicerto. If you got a business and you need some tax advice, go ahead and get a hold of Big Chief. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Then you got Catalone's Pizzeria, home of the meatiest calzone ever, based out of Hannibal, New York. It's big, thick, and juicy. Then you got, speaking of big, thick, and juicy, you got Big Mike's Meats, home of the double XL tube steak. That's another big, thick, juicy meats. So if you guys ever come to the Calcutta that we have every year up at camp for Classic, and you guys have that delicious pulled pork, that's Big Mike's Meats. I'm telling you, you guys are always raving about it all the time. Like, oh man, this is cooked so good. No, it's Big Mike's Meats. So there you go. Get ahead, come on up there for the Classic Calcutta. Donate some money, get yourself some Big Mike's Meats. Then you got Kingsley's Outdoor Service, making your outdoors red, white, and awesome. Phone number 863-282-9714. They do land clearing, brush cutting, and all your type of dirt work needs. I'm telling you, this is Moose Kingsley's business. Moose has become a big supporter of the show, and I want to say thank you very much, Moose, for being a part of the show. Get out there and support Kingsley's Outdoor Service, people. Oh, Dave threw this one in here. And he got Outlaw Light Beer, the official beer of Redline Radio and Tied In Loose Out. If you want some free beer, grab an Outlaw Light, take a picture with it, and tag Redline Radio Network with it, and just take a picture with it on Facebook. Hold it there. Drink the thing. Stone Cold. Hey, you know what? If I see somebody on Facebook and they tag Redline Radio in it and they got 2 beers, Stone Cold Steve Austin that beer, I will pay for you to get into your local racetrack that weekend. All right.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge.
There you go. So all you got to say is grab an Outlaw Light beer, grab 2 Outlaw Light beers, make a video, and throw them back. And I'm telling you, I will pay for you to get into the racetrack that weekend. First 4 people that do it. First 4. All right. I ain't going to go ahead and pay for goddamn 1,000 people. So I'm telling you, grab out some Outlaw Light beer. I will Venmo you the money or whatever for you to get into the races for free that weekend. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just asking for some support, people. All right.
Bill Carr says free classic tickets.
Free classic tickets. Hell no. Hell no. No. That ain't gonna happen. Those tickets ain't cheap. Woo, boy, I made him a little stiff today. So let's go ahead and let's get to our races here. Well, we had a good race out at Lee Speedway. We had, let's see here, we had Ben Seitz finishing 5th, PJ Steros finishing 4th, John McKennedy finishing 3rd, Derek Griffith finished 2nd, and there seems to be the new king on the block. The kid, Jeffrey Battle, is just tearing up the NESS series up there in New England. I don't know, John McKennedy, you get a little old there, buddy, or what? Or is the kid just that good? John, I believe in you, buddy. I really do. So I don't know. Let's just see how this season play out. But Jeffrey Battle, man, you're impressing the shit out of me, buddy. And then we had the Outlaw 350 series at Lancaster. Well, folks, let's have a little small talk about this. All right. I'm seeing a lot of shit on Facebook where they're talking about there's favoritism going on. There's this, there's that between their golden boy, Danny Shirey. Well, folks, let me tell you something right now. All right. You guys look at here, right here. I'm going to look right at you. There's shit of favoritism going on. All right. I watched that replay, and I'm not kidding you, maybe 100 times. Probably more. I rewound it. I clipped it. Those two were racing each other hard as hell. And if you guys don't know who I'm talking about Danny Shirey and Mike Bruce. Those two, I know they're going to talk about Cavalcade last year. That was another hard racing event. Both those two were racing hard. They knew that if one person got out front, they weren't going to be able to pass the other guy. They just knew it. It was a race to the front. Now, Bruce was already there. The caution came out. It was on a restart. And it was just one of those things where it's just like he knew that he couldn't let him go. He couldn't. So I think it was a hard racing incident. I don't think Danny, I personally don't think Danny thought that Bruce was there, because by the time they kind of touched wheels there in the middle of 1 and 2, Bruce kind of fell back a little bit. Danny was already technically clear. It would have been considered cutting him off, but we have no mirrors. We have no radios. Okay. So I hope that you New York people do not feel that that was intentional. I've known Danny And let me tell you something. He's going to race you hard, but he ain't going to stuff you in the wall. But with that being said, you had your fifth place, Joey Scanlon. Fourth place, Keegan Weiss. The kid's coming up. He's only like 15 years old, Keegan Weiss says. You had Robbie Worth having a hell of a run. Him and Bobby Holmes probably had the race of the night. And then you had the winner, as I stated, Danny Shirey. Danny's first win of the year, I believe, first or second win of the year. They're a little bit on the struggle bus this year, but I think it's a second win of the year. Yeah, for sure. So congratulations to everybody there. Larry, congratulations. I thought it was a success. You had, I think 20 cars showed up, 18 took the green. You had some misfortune of a couple cars there in the heat races. It is whatever it is. You know, that's part of racing, but I think it was a really big success. I know we had some, the up the purse on the start money. I think that helped out. Maybe gain a car or two. I was really disappointed. I was really hoping that, Larry says it was Danny's first win of the year. So I was really hoping that we'd get around 24, maybe even 30. There's a lot of you guys out there, and a lot of you guys are really close, so if we could have had another, 4 or 5 more guys, I think it would have been very beneficial to Lancaster. I think they would, again, people, there's a race going on in your backyard. You guys have to support this, fans and drivers, because you guys are going to be the first ones to bitch and moan and complain at, oh, we got no races close to home. Well, yeah, you did, but you didn't go support it, you asshole. You need to go support the damn race, So I know I'm beating a dead horse. I know it's frustrating. It really is, people. But good Lord, man, racers are their own worst enemies. They really are. You just, oh, well, I had this, I had that. Well, I don't want to hear about it when you got to travel 6 hours for a race, So, it is whatever it is. And I'm getting stressed over nothing I can control. So then you had the ISMA race at Jennerstown. Boy, I tell you what, we'll get to this, but you had fifth place was Mike Ordway Jr., fourth place was Mark Samet. Third place was Tyler Thompson. Second place, good friend of the show, Mike McVetta. Another good friend of the show was the winner, Tyler Schulich, the hottest man in super modified racing next to Otto Sitterly. So good Lord, man. This kid on the ISMA Tour, he's definitely the hottest man in the ISMA Tour right now. Hottest man in super modified racing. He's in auto status right now, So the kid is just finishing on the podium week after week after week, setting fast time, breaking track records. He's there. He's starting in the back, and he's just motoring himself up. Mike McVetta, same thing. He's starting in the back, motoring his way right up front. Mike just kind of just didn't have anything for Tyler in the feature. Mike got up there. Tyler got up there first, and, that was the rest of the story. It would have been really nice to see Mike get up there first and see Tyler try to battle Mike for the lead. But, hey, it is whatever it is. As they say, maybe next time. John Nicotra says, tell him, Will. Don't you get me started, John. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, John. You ain't getting me all worked up and fired up, because your driver right now is the king of Oswego Speedway. When I see Otto here in about 5 more weeks, I'm going to put a crown on top of his head, and I'm going to genuflect and just, and just call him the king right now, until somebody knocks him off. I'm telling you guys right now, the guy's not losing a race this year. You guys better step your game up in Oswego. I'm just telling you right now, all hail King Otto. I'll be saying that next weekend when you guys get mad at me. So, all right. With that being said, Dave, it's time to go ahead and bring on the Midwest legend. And like I said in my post the other day, I don't think there was a super modified driver in the 80s that had a better mustache than Doug Saunier. I mean, he was the Tom Selleck, the Magnum PI of Midwest, Ohio, Indiana, super modified racing. This guy has won races at the most famed racetracks that you guys can ever think of that at super modifieds have raced on. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one, the only Doug Saunier.
Hey, Willie, how you
Hey,
doing?
doing good, Doug. How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. You too,
Yes.
Dave.
Let me go ahead and grab myself a drink here. Doug, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on. This has been this all pretty much started during the rain delay at Classic 2 years ago. Pretty much had a an interview with you during the rain delay, and I remember talking to Mike about it. I'm like, I just literally just interviewed Doug Saunier, and it like this should be on the show right now. The conversation that we had, and it was just a great conversation. And I kept saying like, I got to get you on the show, got to get you on the show. And it was always about, for me it was scheduling, and then I was supposed to have you on last week, and it was scheduling, and so we got you on this week, and this is going to be a really, really great show. Doug was a huge part of my childhood growing up for super modified racing. When I first started going to the races was probably right around Doug's first year of racing. So we're going to get into it. So let's get into it. Doug, when was the first time you went to a race?
Oh, this goes all the way back to when I was a young kid. I mean, my dad used to go out to Canton Motor Speedway, and we used to watch, they called them back then the Bombs. So we used to watch, Ernie Lowe, Donnie Albritton, all those kind of guys out there. And I mean, I fell in love with it all the way back then.
So was it a super modified deal, or was it some form of super modifieds, or was it stock cars?
No, they were like upright cars, but they were custom built. They were all homemade built. There was a couple guys that had a couple of, I guess chassis built, sprint cars and stuff, but most of them were all hand built. I mean, you had the Norm Calhouns, I mean, that just dominated, Donnie Albritton, and then Gary came up through from that, and we used to watch Gary down there. So it was all a lot of fun,
So let's see here. What Canton was like was it like a small 3/8?
Yeah, it was pretty much a small 3/8. We had one super modified race there way back in the 80s, early 80s. And gosh, I don't even remember who won back then. But
I think that was the only time I ever went there. But I was real little though, so I don't remember it that well. So yeah.
Right. So that was when I had the car that Baldy originally drove. So
okay, all right. So you brought up your dad, famous Don Saunier. For the people in the Midwest that don't know, Don's been a part of super modified racing for for many, many years. Don was also a super modified owner also. How'd your dad get involved into super modified racing, Doug?
Again, Canton Motor Speedway, we used to go out there and watch, and then him and another guy down the road basically decided that they wanted to get a car, and he bought this old, I call it a shit box, but I mean, and so they had this guy that was going to drive it for him, and they all took a shot at driving it. And my dad went out in a heat race one night, and 10-lap heat race, I think he got lapped twice, and he got out of the car and said, "This is not for me. I'm not driving."
It's not for everybody. Like I tell everybody, there's owners and then there's drivers, so some of these people are confused. They think they're still drivers, and it's like, no, buddy, you put somebody else in that car, but it's their money. They can spend it however they want. But so who'd your dad put in the car after he got out?
After he got out, they ended up getting rid of that car. Him and that partner ended up going their separate ways, and he bought this Roadster with another guy, and they had Norm Calhoun in it. And that was my first experience going to Lorain County and Sandusky, is when we had that Roadster. And again, back in those days, I mean, it was tough. I mean, you had a lot of cars that used to come into those races, and that was a tough deal. I mean, and it wasn't that great of a car, and eventually they ended up getting rid of that car, and he was out of it for a few years until him and Gary got together, him and Gary and Don Albritton, and they bought their first Gibson Roadster.
Okay.
And and that's when it really started to get fun. I mean, I'm like 14, 15 years old at this point. I'm going all over the country. You know, you couldn't get into the pits then at my age, and I was sneaking in the pits or wherever I could to help on the car and everything else. And you know, probably the one win that I remember most was out at the Anderson Speedway when we took the Gibson car out there. My dad wasn't there. It was me, Gary, and another guy. It was Tom Mockimer, a friend of Gary's, and Gary pretty much dominated and won that race, and it was just a lot of fun.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I know what it's like being 14, 15 years old, traveling all over the country and sneaking into racetracks and stuff like that, because that's exactly what I was doing too at that age. So, yeah. So you had Gary Albritton drive it, and then how can I word this? When did you decide you wanted to give it a shot? Did you ever race anything before that?
The only thing I ever raced prior to that is a go-kart, and I think I ran it probably 3-4 times because we never had time because we were always super modified racing somewhere.
Right.
So it was really just me being there at the racetrack all the time, and you know, Gary ended up leaving us. We put Louis Mole in the car. At that point, it was another guy from down around the Canton area, Canal Fulton area that raced, you know, Sandusky, Lorraine, drove for Summers. And then Gary ended up buying the car. They ended up buying that Roadster off of my dad, and we were out of it for a couple of years. And then Dad went to Todd, had him build another car, and that's when we had Baldy in the car.
Okay.
And then I think Baldy drove for 3-4 years for us.
About what year was that when Baldy got in the car?
That had to be back in like 76, 77. Because I started my first race was the last race at Lorain County in 1979 of the season.
And it's ironically enough, my first race was 1979. So, like I said, when I started going, it was probably Doug's rookie year. So,
so it was the last race of the year. I'd been out hot lapping the car a couple of times, and
okay,
you know, and Baldy just told my dad, he said he's ready to go. Put him in it, you know. And I went out and, you know, I qualified 6th quick in my first time in a super, and my dad came to me, he goes, I think you got to start at the tail of the feature. And I go, I don't want to start at the tail. I want to start at my spot. So I think, you know, back then it was a straight up race because it was a cavalcade or whatever. And I started 6th, and they dropped the green flag, and we went piling into turn 1, and everybody stopped, and I didn't. And I blasted Gus Alexin in the ass, and I spun myself out. Everybody kept going. I spun into the infield, kept the car going, came out on the back straightaway at the back of the pack, and still worked my way back up to 6th place.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was that Sandusky?
That was in Lorain County.
Lorain County. Okay. All right. Yeah. Because a lot of people don't know that Sandusky did not always have an infield guardrail. You used to be able to go ahead and spin off into the infield there too. So yeah.
Right.
But no, man. So first race was at Lorain County Cavalcade. Wow. And still qualified 6th for your first time. So when you first took it out, you know, it's still a super modified, regardless if it's 1979 or 2019, you know, it still had a lot of horsepower to it, you know. You guys, you're running a small block then, weren't you?
Yeah. We ran a small block all the way up till 85.
Yeah. So you had the small block in the car, still had a shit ton of horsepower in it, you know, and like, what was it like? How old were you when you first jumped into that car?
I was actually 22 years old. So I started late. I started late racing. I didn't start till I was 22.
Well, I mean, a lot of those guys didn't jump in super modifieds until like their mid-20s anyway. So, sure. I mean, you know, back in those days, it ain't like how it is now. It's 16 years old, throw them in, you know. So,
right.
But just, I always ask this question to everybody, like, what was it like feeling that horsepower and then driving it into the corner? Like, knowing when to hit the brake and when not to, because sometimes your brain tries to override your right foot. Did you have that situation your first couple times out?
Oh, I'm sure I did. I mean, it's just a lot of horsepower. I mean, for the amount of for the amount of the size of the tires and everything. So, it was just a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So, I mean,
Right.
I was hooked from that point on.
Yeah. I don't blame you one bit at all. I always said
Yeah.
my dream was to drive a super modified. I got to do a 350 last year, and my goal was to have the wing drop down the straightaways, and I did. I accomplished that goal, and I said, okay, so I was happy about that. So, but no, that's great. So finished sixth. You had the off season. So now we're going into 1980. You're going in to be the driver for the 80 season, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And so when did you get your first win?
It was actually, I didn't get my first win until 80, 82.
Okay.
So, and
All
I
right.
think my first win is at Lorain County, I believe. Yeah, because Lorain, I always liked Lorain better than Sandusky for the longest time, And then when Lorain quit running supers, obviously Sandusky becomes the track that you're racing at all the time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that became probably one of my favorite places. So,
Yeah, 82 was the last year that they were running them there weekly. They used to race on Fridays, then
right.
go to Sandusky on Saturdays. Those were such great times. Even like 79 where you could race Lorain on a Saturday night and Sandusky on a Sunday afternoon. Those were great times too. I remember those. But God, man, you could go catch super modified racing twice a week. Those most memorable times of my life for sure.
Yeah,
But
we were doing Lorain County on Friday night, Sandusky on Saturday, and going to Kalamazoo and running Kalamazoo Sunday afternoon.
oh, were you guys really? No
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah. Wow. You guys lived what, 2.5 hours south of 3 hours south of Kalamazoo? 4 hours?
It was probably 4.5, 5 hours to
Yeah.
Kalamazoo back in those days,
Wow.
So
That's
I mean, so we get home, Monday morning just in time to, go to work.
yeah. Yeah. And that's back when you were racing too?
Oh yeah, that's when
Okay.
I was racing. So I had
Okay.
my brother and and the two guys that helped us, David and Mike May helped us back then, and my parents obviously were there every week.
Yeah.
So, but it was good
Okay.
times.
All right. So you had that gift. So you want to get your first win. What do you remember about that first win? You said it was at Lorain County Speedway. You remember the year. Do you remember anything about the race?
No, not really. I mean, it's been so many races and so many years. It's like I tell everybody in 1984, or when I won the Copper World. I'm not trying to jump ahead, but we ran 36 races that year,
Wow.
and out of 36 races, we won 13 in 1984.
Wow.
So, but
Wow.
that was with a new car that we had built.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Because the Gibson car, you guys wound up selling to Ron Hennis.
correct. Hennis ended
Okay.
up with that car, and then we
Yep.
built a new car.
Yeah. So, and that's the car that wound up getting the big block in it.
That's the car that we ended up putting a big block in it in '85.
Okay.
The before the '85 season, and we went to Phoenix with it, with the big block in it.
Yeah.
That's the year that Bentley won, and we actually had a radius rod actually broke a bolt or something and came off, and I spun and crashed, and one of those deals.
Right. Okay. Okay. So you went back to, well, let's not jump ahead here, folks. Yeah. So I've had this conversation with Doug, and it's a very unique conversation. So we'll get into the copper world now, because I'm like a kid right now. I just need to know about this, and I'm sure everybody else does too. So Nowadays you have the internet. So if there's a super modified race going on out west, you have the internet, Facebook and Instagram and all this other stuff. How did you guys find out that a 1 mile track out in Phoenix, Arizona was going to race super modifieds?
If there was a super modified race somewhere, my dad was going to it. So, that's through the super modified community. I mean, they'd been talking about doing the roadster division out there for a couple of years. They were just doing the sprint cars because Richmond, I think, won out there, but he had a roadster, but it was classified. It was only an 8-inch car back then, so they would let it run with the sprint cars. But when we went out there, that's when you were running the wider offsets and all of that. So, I mean, our car was a 16-inch offset car at that point with a small block in it. And when we went out there, everybody else was running big blocks. And we went out there and it's an interesting story about Phoenix. When we went out there, we had just got done. We were doing testing for Hoosier and helping them develop tires for super modifieds. And when we went out to Hoosier, I met Bob Newton, and Bob Newton was a great friend of mine, him and Joyce. So when we got ready to go to Phoenix, Irish was our Hoosier representative, and Bob Newton told Irish, "You're staying home. Joyce and I are going to Phoenix." So he was the one out there representing Hoosier. And when I went out on the track for the first time, I'm probably a second and a half off the pace.
Okay.
And he comes over to me and he always called me kid. He said, "So what's the matter, kid?" And I said, I just having a hard time trying to figure out this place, Bob, And he goes, "Well, come over here." He says, "I want you to introduce you to somebody." He took me over and he introduces me to George Snyder. And he says, "George, next hot lap session, can you take this kid out and show him where the marks are?" He goes, "Yeah, when we go out," he says, "just have him follow me." So we go out and I'm following him and he's just kind of giving me hand signals, showing me where the marks are. And I end up picking up a second and a half up that session right there. We go out, we qualify fourth quick. He's second quick. Chet's on the pole. Wally Pancras is on the inside of me. And, Chet had the rear engine car then. And so we get ready to start that race. And George comes over to me before the race and he says, "You need to be glued to my ass because we're going to slicker Chet on this start." So he says, "You just be glued to my ass." So I was, boy. And we started, but we had to start that race 3 times because they kept spinning out. I mean, guys weren't used to that kind of speed out there, especially even the guys from California weren't used to that kind of speed at the time. And we weren't running wings then.
Yeah.
The first 2 years were non-wing. So the one thing that George came over and told me before that race started was, he goes, "Whatever you do, don't try to pass going into turn 1 because on the outside," he says, "because it'll try to suck you up into the wall." I said, "Okay." So, so we're getting ready for the race to start and everything. And my dad comes over and he is a nervous wreck. And, I was pretty calm at that point and I was ready to go. And he comes over and he goes, "Doug," he says, "this place is really fast." He says, "You just need to take it easy. And, you don't have to win." And he goes, I looked at him, I said, "I didn't come here to run second."
Right.
He told that story till the day he died. He just turned and shook his head and walked away.
So tell us about the start.
So when they finally got the race started, George and I both got to jump on Chet. George was first, I was second. We ran 1 lap. We went, come around, took the start finish line there. George was leading. We went into turn 1 and I jumped on the outside, passed him going into turn 1, never looked back.
Right where Chet told you not to pass.
Right where George told me not to pass, I drove right around him on the outside.
Did you win going? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I had a long big lead, but they had a yellow right at the end, and we were running out of fuel because they had so many restarts. But we ended up winning. We had Bob in victory lane, and George, he comes walking over to victory lane. He looks at me and he goes, "No more lessons for you."
Oh man,
But
that's a great story. So for you people out there that do not know that that was the first ever
Copper
Copper
World
World
Classic
Classic. Yeah, and
for
you
for the roadster division.
for the super modifieds, yes, for the
Right.
super modifieds. Where's that trophy at?
That's my house down in Florida, sitting up
Is
on
it?
the shelf in Florida.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That is really great.
That's the one of the few trophies that did end up going into trash.
You know, I don't know what's up with you super modified drivers just throwing away perfectly good trophies. Dave Schulich is the same damn way. You're the same way. Like, you guys are just throwing away trophies that you're fan. If you would just go on Facebook and just be like, look, I got trophies I'm wanting to give away, you would have a line down the street and around the corner that people of your fans that would just love to go ahead and get a trophy off of you guys. So you guys need to stop doing that. You know, so for you current super modified drivers, I'm telling you guys right now, give away your trophies to your fans. Give them away to the kids. I'm telling you, I would put a trophy up here on the wall. Dave Schulich Jr. gave me his runner-up Oswego Speedway Classic from 2 years ago. I got to hang it up here on the wall. I love it. You know, so yeah, all those trophies. I appreciate every one of them. Yeah, but no. So, God, did you fly home or did you drive home with the race car hauler? Like, what was that?
No,
drive like
actually, my mom and dad took the car out. We had a motorhome back then, a small mini home. So they took the car out. We had our first enclosed trailer. And then from there, they left and went from there to Florida because we had the Florida series coming up 2 weeks later.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we flew out, we flew back, worked for a week and a half, and then we flew down to Florida and we ran that series at Sunshine Speedway.
Yeah. Didn't you have like a 5-race series? Like you raced like 3 different tracks or something like that? Or
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys like raced down like West Palm Beach and like you guys, yeah. You guys was it Golden Gate Speedway too?
Yeah, there was a number of different tracks that we ran at down there, but most of them were at there at the end, and most of them were at Sunshine and then finally at Volusia.
Okay. Yeah. They race supers at Volusia?
Oh yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Yes. I was there for Volusia. I'm thinking New Smyrna. I'm sorry. I got him confused. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I was there.
Well,
for
Volusia. They did run supers at New Smyrna as well because we were down there. Gosh, it would have had to been in 78, 77. That's when Kenny Reese flipped out of the ballpark there, and that's when he got burnt real bad down there.
Oh, no kidding. See,
and that was at New Smyrna.
Yeah, I never knew that. So, So here's a question that I want to ask you. Now, I know you're down here from Navarre. Strasburg's not far away. How did you and Malk Hewitt get hooked up?
When we first started, we were building our own engines, and obviously we went through a couple engines. So then we started using Griff, and that was up in Sandusky. And Griff builds a good motor. That's who Mike uses. But my brother ended up going to work for Malkit.
Okay.
And when he went to work for Malkit, we just started taking everything to Malkit and having him doing it. And we just had great success with Malkit stuff.
Right.
So,
right.
We never had an actual engine failure. We never blew an engine the whole time I ran a Malkit engine.
It's funny that you say that because me and Rob Evans, we always talk about the good old days, and Rob Evans is one of your biggest fans ever, and speaking of it, here's his brother, JD on here. But we always talked about how the durability and the horsepower that they would be able to give you guys, it was just unbelievable, man. And then you even had some New York guys, they were making the jaunt down there to Strasburg to go pick up some engines. I remember, was it Danny Sewell had one too, didn't he?
Yeah, Danny Sewell had one, and they had really good success with it. And Brad mainly does small block engines. So he didn't do that many big block engines. So he did them because it was me, and then basically Danny came along. But we never had an engine on a dyno because he was set up to do the small blocks, and we never took the time to get it set up to put a big block on. So, But we just had really good, reliable horsepower. you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah. So when you went from your motors to the Malkit, could you tell the difference?
oh yeah, immediately. I mean, a lot more horsepower, you know, uh, definitely was a lot better motor. So
Yeah, yeah. So when you went down to Florida after Copper, did you win any races down there?
I didn't. We ended up breaking a drive shaft down in Florida. And back then we didn't have a lot of spares with us. So we didn't have a spare drive shaft. And actually Tony Lavati was down there with his car and didn't really have a driver. And he says, "You want to drive my car?" And I said, "Sure, I'll drive it." So I ended up driving his car for a couple of nights. And because there were both two of the nights were just back to back, and we just couldn't get the car together in time. So
Right.
uh, wasn't very long after that we didn't have that problem about having spare parts anymore.
Yeah, sometimes lessons are expensive, So
Yeah.
yeah. But so that was, what would you say, 84 that was, or 85?
That was 84. 84.
All
Yeah.
right. So you had that car for quite a few years, all the way up until you decided to get in bed with Graves,
Yeah.
right? So how did that all come about? I mean, the Graves fad was taken over in the late 80s. How did that all come together?
Well, we knew we wanted to get a new car. We didn't know if we were going to build our own car or were we going to buy a car, a Graves car. And we had actually already sold our car to Pavia, and that's who when Griff was driving.
Yeah.
So we'd already sold the car to them, and my dad was selling tires at that point. So we were over at Jennerstown, and it was a very overcast night. It looked like it was going to rain at any time. And
Typical
actually,
Jennerstown.
Graves was there, and Hebron was his driver. And Hebron couldn't get in because of they was flying in, and he couldn't get in because of the low ceiling. So I was standing there and I said, "Hey, if he doesn't show up, I'll drive that car." He looked over at me and he goes, "Okay, I'll let you know." And pretty soon he comes over, he goes, "You want to drive it?" And I goes, "Yeah, absolutely." I got in that thing, and I ended up winning the heat race and led the feature. And of course, the earlier race that year was a 50 lapper. The second race that year was a 75 lapper. I led that thing up to lap 65, and the thing started smoking. And I didn't want to burn up somebody's motor because I didn't know what was smoking. So I ended up pulling in, and here it was a power steering line. And he, we could have probably went on and won that race, but
Oh man.
but
Wow.
Hebron was a lot shorter guy than me, and my knees were hitting the steering wheel, and I couldn't get all the way around. And if the car would have been loose, it would have been a mess because I could have never saved that thing because I could have never got past my knees with my hands.
Wow. Wow. So I kind of fast forward, but I want to go back a little bit. Let's talk about, you had some success at Oswego too. You wound up driving the Jamie Moore 44. Was that 87?
Yeah, you probably better at it than knowing the dates. I mean, if my mom was still alive, my mom could probably rattle them off to you,
Yeah. So Silliman's on, so he'll be able to tell me. You were a threat to win one of those classics driving that car. You want to talk about that?
It was that year, and I'm telling you, I mean, it was really funny because they used to qualify on Friday night, and then the modifieds ran on Saturday, and then the classic was on Sunday.
Right.
Well, Friday night we got rained out, and this was back when I was still drinking back then, and I got trashed. Friday night I got trashed. We were over at my buddy Gary White's marina, and my wife was supposed to be flying in that night, and Gary White's wife calls, and she goes, "Oh, you guys are back from the track. You guys can go pick her up." And I picked the phone up and I said, "Hey, if you don't want to go pick her up, leave her at the airport."
Oh boy.
And we were staying at Gary's house, and he was the deputy chief of the Syracuse Police Department. And So, I mean, we were all trashed. David was trashed. I was trashed. And so it was always the thing on Saturdays, the girls went shopping and we had to watch the kids. So Gary, he comes down that morning and we're sitting on the couch and he goes, how do you guys feel? I go, oh, I feel great. Dave goes, yeah, I feel good.
Dave being
Gary's
who?
Dave May.
Yeah, so people, I know who you're talking about, but these people don't, though. So yeah.
So Gary goes, well, I feel like shit, and I got to go to work. I go, well, okay. He walked out the door. We both hit the couch, and I don't have a clue what those kids did all day.
Bambi got on here and she commented, which Bambi, I know that, but a lot of people out there, it wasn't Bambi that he was talking about.
No,
his first wife.
No, first wife. First wife.
Yes. So you went out there.
I would have never told you you're going to leave Bam at the airport. That wouldn't happen.
No. Yeah, that's for sure. So what did you remember about that? So you qualified. You qualified like top 10, didn't you?
I qualified 6th, and
okay.
And the race started.
Champagne car too, wasn't it?
It's the old Champagne car.
Yep.
And I got out there, and the car was tremendous. I mean, just unbelievable. So I was taking it easy, biding my time. You know, Jamie, he comes up and he hits me in the back, pulls up alongside of me on a caution, and he's like, "How is it?" And I'm giving him the thumbs up. You know. Next thing I know, we got about 30 laps to go. I'm running third, and the leaders were right in front of me, and I'm feeling good. I'm thinking, oh man, I got this thing, you know. And all at once, I'm coming down the back straightaway, and a spud that the radius rod, the front axle radius rod hooked onto, pulled out of the frame, and the axle flipped forward in the car.
Oh shit!
I ran the last 30 laps of that race with the axle flipped forward in the car. I'd go down the back straightaway, the front end would shake, and you couldn't touch the brakes because it would suck you right into the wall, into the inside wall. And we ended up finishing third in that race.
Wow. That was your best finish at the Classic too, I believe.
Best finish that I've ever had, yeah. But I finished 5th twice in my car.
Yep.
And I think I finished ninth in Hal's car, I think, from the back.
Yeah. Wow. What a story. And I mean, and how much experience did you have at Oswego before that race?
We had a little bit of experience, but not good.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because we never went up there except to run the classic usually. And, you know, it usually took halfway through the race for me to even start getting comfortable in the car. But I mean, a Champagne car, I mean, was just a dream to drive. As soon as I got in it, I just felt like it was made for me, you know?
Right. How did that deal all come together?
Jamie actually called me, and well, actually, no, he didn't. We were at the racetrack, and he came over and he goes, "Hey, you want to run my car?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we ended up putting somebody else in our car because I wasn't going good in our car, and ended up doing really well in his car. So
who wound up jumping in your car?
I think it was Pat Schulich. I think Dad ended up putting in it.
I think I remember that. Yes, I think I do remember that. Yeah, and I think that was Pat's first classic, wasn't it?
I'm not sure, but I know that he ended up getting in a tangle. I think in the Concy or something.
Yeah. Yep. So, oh man, and that was back in the days of the Bud Light B Main, where the winner made it in. You know, those were the good old days. You know, for you kids out there don't remember those. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, I'm sorry, I folks, I had to go back. I had to ask that question, but we're back up to 1990 now. You get the Graves car. It was the big rumor coming out. Doug Saunier's got a brand new car coming out, and all the Saunier fans were just, up in arms and how beautiful it's going to be. And, you guys always had great craftsmanship when you guys had your cars. It was always a beautiful looking car. as I became older, I became shade blind, but I do remember it being a beautiful blue.
Mhm.
Even when I look at the pictures of it, I still in my head I still see that beautiful blue car, and it actually was a reason why my favorite color became blue, because I always loved that color of that car as a kid. So you came out. Did you? I thought you won your first time out in that car, didn't you?
First night out, we won in the car. So we're having a little bit of power steering problems. We're having a little bit of a bind in the servo unit, and we got that worked out. And actually, Andy Graves came down, and we went through setups and everything, and we went out and won the very first race that year.
Wow.
So
That's just unbelievable. And and what about, I mean, Andy Graves, the journey that guy's been on in his racing career. Just, I mean, I'm going to have, I got his phone number. I'm going to get a hold of him. I'm going to try to get him on the show. If not this year, definitely next year, need to get him on. But,
mhm.
let's see here. Mark Shepard says, still have the Peachtree hat that you gave him from a long time ago. God, that's a long. That's got to be 90, anywhere between 90 and 92. I think Peachtree was. Yeah, so that's a long time ago. But yeah,
Right.
you guys were a huge threat that year to win the High Miler Nationals. We're gonna get into this. Let's see here. The Nationals, what was a High Miler? I know it was still kind of young, in those days. When you first got in there, it was like almost the first year, one of the first few years for the High Miler Nationals. But was that a big race that was circled on your calendar for you and your family?
Oh yeah, I mean you lived all year long to race that High Miler Nationals, because there was
Yeah,
one year, back in the early days. I mean, I didn't make that race. I mean, that's how competitive it was back then. And I mean, that was back in like 81 or 82. I didn't make that race, and I was devastated. I mean, you live all year long for that race. So
yeah.
once we got the Graves car, I mean, the Graves car was just always good at Sandusky. You know, I felt very comfortable there, and just we were ready to go. We were ready for that race.
Right, for for sure. So, how'd your Friday night go of that High Miler? Do you remember that?
Uh, I'm not too sure that we didn't win that Friday night, because there was a couple of times I won the Friday night show, and I'm pretty sure we won the Friday night show that year,
I'm pretty sure you
and
did too.
we were leading the Saturday night show, and I think there was 3 laps left to go,
All right, let's
and
build it up, Doug. Let's build it up here. All right. So Doug's leading the race, folks. All right. This is one of his most prestigious races, and he's the dominant car all year at Sandusky Speedway, hands down. I'll fight anybody that disagrees with that year. And so we're getting around 5 laps to go. Doug, is there anything going through your head after you see the halfway point, up to 10 to go, 5 to go? There's no scoreboard at Sandusky Speedway, so you really don't know when's it coming down. But are you getting a little anxious? You know that the laps are winding down. Nobody was around you. You were checked out.
right. No, I mean, the car was so good. I mean, it was funny because my brother and we had came up with a different shot for the wing package than what everybody else was running. So we actually made a set of our own shocks, uh, and they were only like 1 inch in diameter. So they reacted really fast. So it was like, as soon as you hit the straightaway, that wing like dropped, and he just got like a boot in the ass going down the straightaway. And then as soon as you hit the corner, you just tap the brake, and as soon as you tap the brake, that would set the wing, and the wing would pop right up and give you the
Right.
downforce that you needed to go through the corner. Well, I mean, everything was working great, and like I said, with about 3 laps left to go, I go into turn one, I go to hit the brake, and the brake goes all the way to the floor. Wing didn't pop up, and I went shooting off the end of the racetrack.
Go
So
ahead. So tell everybody what broke. What was it?
it's probably a 10-cent cotter pin. So back in those days, you had the wheelwood brakes, and on a Graves car, the left rear brake was mounted to the bird cage, but it was mounted underneath the rotor. So when it was mounted underneath the rotor, it's inside the wheel. And so the only thing that was holding the pads up in was that steel cotter pin. You know, it was about 3 inches long that went through there, and it was steel.
Yeah.
So a rock or something must have got up inside the wheel and came around and sheared that cotter pin off, and the inside brake pad fell out. And when I hit the brakes, the pedal just went right to the floor.
Oh my goodness. Yep. So everybody thought it was a steering arm. Everybody thought it was a 10-cent set screw. It was this or that. Here it was, folks. It was a cotter pin. All right. There's a cotter pin.
That held the brake pads in.
They held the brake pad in, and that's the cause of it. So I know, and maybe not a lot of the viewers here know, but did you have any more success on Saturday night after that?
We did. I mean, if you remember when Mike Kalanoff ran the racetrack that year, they made that race a 150 lap race.
Yes.
The first time and only time they made it a 150 lap race.
Right.
It was Dave and I started on the front row, and you know, if I'm starting on the front row, they're not beating me to the corner. I don't care who's starting up there. They're not beating me to the corner. So we ended up taking the lead on lap 1, and we led that thing for 142 laps.
Wow.
And at one point they had a caution, I think, with about like 30 laps to go, and we had to refuel, and my tire was looking pretty bad, but it was going to make the distance. Well, Schulich, that's when the rules changed with ISMA.
1995 high miler.
because they went in and put 4 brand new Hoosiers on and came out and started at the back and came up to the field and passed me with 8 laps to go.
Was it 4? Or I thought he put the rears on. Did he put 4 brand new ones on?
He put 4 brand new tires on.
Oh my goodness. So somebody had mentioned on Facebook, they're talking about, that's when Schulich changed his tires and, you know, came out and he wanted to win it. After that, ISMA changed their rules. I don't know if it was after the race or after the season, but you could only put a previously stenciled tire on after that.
Correct.
Because after that race.
That race.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of why I was leading into that story, because I remember that, because that was another good race that, you know, unfortunately got away from you. You never got a chance to win a high miler, you know.
Never did.
But you've won so many great races over your career, and I know I've skipped over some. We're going to go back here a little bit, you know, and I apologize. You went to Winchester, you went to Salem, which is almost identical. There is differences in banking, but I mean, it's the degrees. What was it like going to those tracks and racing those tracks?
You know, I loved Winchester, and it was funny because you remember Al Paradise. I mean, Paradise is still around. And the first time, I think it was back in 81 or 82, we were going to go to Winchester for the snowball race, the Sammy Session snowball race, right? And he begged me not to go to Winchester because he'd been there. He'd seen so many people get hurt there, get killed there, whatever. He says, "Man, you don't want to go there." And I said, "It's another racetrack, Al. Who cares, you know?" And so when we went there the very first time, you know, we ran a lot with the sprint cars back in those days, and I got behind. I think it was Leffler or one of those guys that, you know, had run USAC and stuff. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna stick with this guy, and I'll be able to see how to get around. You know, it was the first time on the racetrack, and they threw the green flag, and 2 laps later, I couldn't even see him. He was gone.
Wow. Because
so you learned real quick. You learned real quick that you had to get fast quick at Winchester.
Right. And you won at both tracks too, correct?
Oh yeah, I won. I think I won 3 Sammy Sessions races, but that one year, whatever year it was, the year that I had my beard and all that, it was after Sandusky because after Sandusky was over, I mean we didn't race for almost a month, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
and then we went to Salem 2 weeks before Winchester. We won Salem, and then 2 weeks later we went to Winchester and won Winchester.
Mm. And you was racing against, Shiree, which was a nut on the high banks. You're racing against both Gibsons, the old man
Oh yeah,
and Gene Lee, which they were
yeah,
really good. I mean, you
yep,
you were racing against some top quality guys there during those
yeah.
days.
Oh
Did,
yeah, you had Tom Marks, you had
oh yeah, Tom Marks.
you had
There's a name.
Carmen's,
Oh yeah,
Carmen was up
Marv.
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
So I mean
wow.
they were all tough guys. I used to race against those guys all the time at Kalamazoo and they were tough.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you were these were the days where you looked at a super modified starting field and you could say the top 12, maybe top 15 back in those days could win the race, back in
Mhm.
those days. Now it's probably more like maybe top 5, maybe top 6, but back in those days, it's like when we do the drawings up in the grandstands, everybody back in the day put in a buck, pull a name out of a hat. You weren't mad at who you got back then because it's like, hey, heck, that's a strong pull. But nowadays,
Sure.
it's down to either 4 or 5 guys now that could win nowadays. So okay, so we got the Salem. We got to the 90s. We got the High Miler. Let's talk about a little bit of the Doug and Dave days. For you guys that don't, so you Oswego people, you guys remember the Mike Muldoon, Doug Didero, the battles the waging of wars between those two guys. We had our own at Sandusky. We had the Doug and Dave show, as us fans
Yeah.
like to call it back in those days. It was, and don't get me wrong, Bruce Roby was winning and Pat Schulich
Sure.
was winning, Joe Grunda was winning, but the majority of the wins was coming from, Dave Schulich and Doug Saunier. Those two,
Right.
and I honestly feel by you buying, and building the new graves, forced Tony Lavati's hand to have to build the new Bodnard car that they wound up building with
Sure.
Tom Winiski. And you guys just waged war. What was it like every Saturday going there? Was your focus like goddamn Schulich again, or just we got to beat Schulich or we got to deal with Schulich this weekend? Because, you how many times you won a track champion out there at Sandusky? 4?
Five times.
5 times.
5
Okay.
times at Sandusky and 1 time at Lorraine County.
Okay. All right. So, and back in those days, you guys were just, I mean, it was probably some of the best racing, in my life, super modified wise. What was that like during that era, during that time? Was that
It was pretty intense. I mean, it was like we said. I mean, you had Doug Saunier fans in the stands and you had Dave Schulich fans in the stands. And I can remember this one night in particular, and it was like whoever got to the front first was probably going to be the person that won, you know. And back in those days, the fastest qualifier started in the back. So Dave and I were always starting in the back of the pack.
right?
So you were threading your way up through there. I mean, it was a 25, 30 lap race, and you had to go. You had to get up there. Well, Dave got through there, and he got the lead before I got up in the second. And he probably had a straightaway lead on me by the time I got up in the second. And we went, and I'm just watching, and we're coming up on lap traffic, and I see him follow this lap traffic, and I make up probably a quarter of straightaway. Next lap, we go into the corner, and he follows the traffic again, and I make up another probably quarter of the straightaway. And I said, "Boy, you do that one more time." And we go in the corner, he follows him again. And man, by that time, I'm on his butt going down the front straightaway. And whichever way he went, I was going the opposite direction. So he finally went high, and I stuck a nose underneath of him, and we were wheel for wheel coming off of turn 2, and we banged wheels side by side twice, coming off of turn 2. And he was coming down the third time, and I backed out of it, and he caught my right front with his left rear and spun him out. And I went on to win the race. He was in the infield. They're holding him back. He's madder than hell. He wants to come out and kick my butt. And you got the fans in the stands they're fighting in the stands.
I remember this.
and I remember, because I used to always, after the race, the guys would take the car and I would walk through the stands and sign autographs. It was so bad that night. I didn't even go in the stands. I walked down the racetrack and walked off the track. And then they were pushing Dave off the track then, and he was mouthing off to me, and I was mouthing off back to him, and he jumped out of the car. And it was funny because he was still rolling. So when he hit the right rear, it just flipped him up in the air, and he ended up on the ground. And I'm out over top of him, and they're pulling me back, and it was comical that night. They had to turn the lights off at the racetrack to get everybody to leave.
Telling you guys, man, you guys missed all this type of stuff. And I know JD Evans is like this is the stories that we tell you around the campfires, man. These are great times back in these days, man. I mean, literally fist fights. I remember that. My mom's like, "You sit your ass right there," because as a kid, I wanted to go up and watch it. I want to see what was going on. You sit your ass right there. Don't you move.
Right.
So yeah, but definitely just, oh my God, one of the craziest times ever that was going on then. So you guys wound up selling the Graves car to Lichty. Did your dad just want to get out of it?
My mom and dad were getting ready to move to Florida. They were going to retire and they were going to move to Florida. So we got rid of everything, and we still had the shop there because we were trying to sell their house, and they ended up buying the car, asked me to drive it down in Florida. We went down to Florida. We ran it down in Florida. Had some good runs. Got rained out the last 2 nights, I think, of the four race series. We got rained out, I think, either 1 or 2 nights. And so then after that, that's when the whole thing came up with the Hal Gerald car. Hal Gerald, I didn't have a ride for that year and didn't know for sure what we were going to do. And I got a call from Hal, and he said, "Hey, will you drive my race car?" And I said, "Well, what's Dave doing?" He goes, "Well, we had a separating of ways." He said, "I want you to drive the car."
Yeah.
So we had to go over to Tom's house and pick that car up. And boy, that was not fun either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Tom was pissed because of whatever had happened. And, they were taking away the car from him and, giving it to us. And it was going up to somebody else's shop because it wasn't going to my shop because I didn't really, my parents weren't there anymore.
Right.
So I was still doing tinkering down there, but really wasn't there to work on the car all the time. So we ended up running that season, and that was my 5th championship because we ended up winning the championship that year. In-house car. It was red number 22.
Oh yeah.
So that's when Dave was right about that. It was red that year.
Yep.
And we made it the number 22. And the last night it came down to we ended up blowing the motor in the 22 car, and I ended up jumping in Denny Fisher's car, and we put the number 22 on his car and finished the race and ended up winning the championship.
Yep. I remember that. I was with them then. I was helping them out then. Yeah. Because I remember saying, me and Sean Wilford said to each other, another huge Doug Saunier fan went, "Now we can see what this car can do." No offense to Denny at all, but you got Denny Fisher and Doug Saunier. I mean, the rest tells the story.
We ended up finishing second to I think it was Grunda that night. I was right there. We ended up I think me and that's when John Henna started racing, and I was coming through the pack, and I ended up touching his left rear with my right front wing, and it actually bent the wing, and it was made the car push, and then finally the wing came off altogether, and I could run with Grunda, but I couldn't pass him.
Mm. Yep. So yeah, I remember that. Yep. So let's see here. So we got that. And where'd you go after that?
After that, I was running sprint car for Dick Fuller.
Oh wow. See?
Out of STL. We were supposed to do a full season with USAC, and we ended up in the meantime that Hyder car that Abold had, he was selling it. So I talked to Dick, and we ended up putting a deal together to go buy that Hyder car and brought it home. And I was working on that in the evenings and going over to Dick's and working on cars. And it ended up being a short season because he ended up having a falling out with his driver, Tony Elliott, and ended up going through a bunch of engines. And so then he just kind of went into running a limited schedule. Then at that point, we were just running pretty much a little 500.
Yeah.
So I started running the Hyder car, which was the yellow number 22.
Right. We're yellow and purples. Beautiful car.
Yep.
Beautiful car.
Yeah.
How'd you like that Hyder? How'd you like that Hyder car?
That was probably one of my favorite cars. I mean, my Graves car was a great car, but I think the Hyder car probably even had more potential than that car did. We just, never got the chance to get it out of it. And I found out real quick, I didn't like being a car owner because it was me coming up with the money and, trying to figure out where getting sponsors at. And, I had a great sponsor with Kenny Troyer from Troyer's Trail Bologna. He was a good friend of mine. He's since deceased. And, it just wasn't fun. It just wasn't fun anymore,
Right.
And if it's not fun, I mean, it's not fun.
Time to get out. So you wound up doing the Hyder car for a little bit, then you jumped over to, and you wound up winning with that Hyder car too.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. And
we actually finished second the Friday night of the High Miler and finished third the night of the High Mile for the 100 lapper.
Yeah.
So and then I went to drive for Brad.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you wound up going over to the Kovacs car, right?
Well, I was supposed to drive the Kovacs car. Actually, Bill Port had called me and said, hey, Bill Port has these two cars that, that Doug Didero used to have from Matzack. And he goes, he wants you to drive them, maintain them. And I'm like, Bill, I don't have a shop anymore. And I said, my shop's gone. I said, I have no way of maintaining it. I said, give me a day or so. Let me see if I can work something out. So that's when I called David and Jim Mayfield. And I put this deal together for them to go ahead and maintain these cars. And I was supposed to drive them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did some testing and stuff like that. And, I don't know if you know Bill, but Bill was a little bit cantankerous and a little hard to get along with. And I was out at Phoenix driving for Brad, running the Copper World. And Bill come over and he started giving me a hard time about something. And then finally he walked away because I told him, I said, hey, I'm here driving for Brad. I don't need to have this discussion with you right now. I said, you just need to walk away, So after he walked away, Brad comes over, he goes, what was that all about? I goes, well, Bill, and I'm supposed to drive for him this year. And I said, he's just giving me a hard time about a lot of things, about not being paid and stuff like that. And I said, I don't ask to get paid a lot, but I need to cover my expenses. I mean, because I had to have my own insurance because my work insurance wouldn't cover me if I got hurt in a race car.
Right.
So I had to have my own insurances that I had to pay for, and then plus travel and things like that. Brad said, well, why don't you just drive for me? I'll build you a brand new car. I said, done deal. Said, done deal.
Sign me up.
So then I had to come back and tell Jim and Dave and Mike that I was going to drive for Brad and I wasn't going to drive for their car.
So there you go. You got that deal.
So they ended up putting Albritton in that car then, and I drove for Brad that year. Yeah. And then the next year they came back to me and asked me if I would drive it again. And he said, what's your deal with Brad? And I said, my deal with Brad's just a year-to-year deal. And he said, well, will you drive it? And I said, well, he goes, Bill wants to sit down and talk with you. So we sat down and talked, and we came to terms, and I ended up driving for him. And I mean, I think we won 3 or 4 shows that year. Probably should have won a few more. We've won the Friday night show of the Nationals, and then got rained out on Saturday night.
Yep. Year Mother
And then-
Nature won. Yep.
Right. And then later that year, they ended up for the cavalcade. He wanted to run 2 cars. So they put Timmy J in the other car, and I was leading the cavalcade that night. Timmy was running second, and he wasn't going to catch me. And coming down the front straightaway, the motor just died, just quit. So
Yeah. And then Timmy J wound up winning his first ever super modified race that day.
right.
Yep. That was his first ever win. So yeah,
Right.
then you wound up going and driving for Kevin J. Cox after that. And,
Well, actually, I was supposed to drive for Brad again in 2002,
okay.
and 2 weeks before race season, I broke my right femur on a 4-wheeler in the backyard at my house in Navarre.
Oh my
So
God.
I was laid up for 2 years with a broken femur that I had to have 3 surgeries done on.
Oh, I never knew that.
So that put me out of racing for 2 years, and was kind of the point where Brad already had his drivers at that point, and there really wasn't a lot of good rides out there. So I was just,
Excuse me.
Kevin asked if I wanted to drive, and I said, I went ahead and did it because I wanted to see if I still wanted to do it.
Right.
And we should have won 4 races that year, but we kept having motor trouble.
Oh God.
The thing kept stumbling coming off the corner, and we should have won 4 races. We didn't, and the end of the racing season was over, and I said, if I can't get on with a good team, I'm just not going to do it anymore. And
Right.
that was pretty much it.
That was it. That was the end of Doug Saunier's career right there.
That was it.
You disappeared for a while. You'd come back for a high miler. We'd say, hey, there's Doug Saunier right there. Like, man, that dude looks like he could still turn a lap or 2. And you still do. You still look like you could turn a lap or 2. You're 69 years old now. You're going to be 70 here soon. I hate to age you like that, but you look good, Doug. You really do for your age,
Thank
man.
you.
You look very good.
I'm actually supposed to run. I'm actually supposed to run the 2-seater up at Oswego at Classic.
Are you?
I'm supposed to. That's the rumor.
For Classic weekend?
For Classic weekend, I'm supposed to be giving rides at the Classic week. I don't know what day yet.
Well, more than
I haven't
likely,
heard
it's
what
gonna
day.
Probably be Saturday morning. But
Probably.
I'm going to have to look into that. I think that'd be really cool. I did it last year with Otto. I think it'd be very cool to do it with you too. So I'll have to go ahead and get a hold of the track for that to see if.
So I got my daughter. I got my daughter that signed up. We got Sandy Swift. Sandy Downey.
Yeah.
That's Nolan Swift's daughter. We got her signed up to go for a ride, and I guess Dorian's going to go for a ride, and I don't know who else is signed up.
Well, you might be a busy guy because I might have to go ahead and see if I can sneak in there and get in that too. So that's pretty. That's very awesome. Ain't no pretty. It's very awesome for sure.
Yeah.
So we're running over here a little bit, and Doug, I hate to go ahead and cut this short, but we all got lives, we all got things we got to do. But just a few questions I always like to ask her. Did you ever have any superstitions?
Not really. When there was a full moon, I always said we were going to win that night. So whenever there was a full moon, it seemed like we always won.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah. So that I'll take that as a no. Any snacks that's your favorite snacks that you always like? Is there, if I go inside the cabinet, there's always going to have that particular snack for you?
Used to always be peanut M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms was your guilty pleasure, huh?
Yeah. But I don't eat them anymore.
Okay. Favorite drink? Soda type of drink.
I just drink mainly iced tea and water these days.
Okay. So back in the day, what was your favorite cocktail?
Oh, that was back when they used to make the original Bartles and James wine coolers.
Yeah.
That were about 7% alcohol. That was
That
my favorite. I
that
love
was
Bartles and James, the original Bartles and James wine cooler.
uh-huh. Yeah, well, there you go. So, favorite track you've ever raced?
You know, there's several. I mean, Sandusky's obviously a favorite because I won so many races there. I mean, Copper World Classic, Phoenix was always fun. But my all-time favorite race that I love is the Little 500. Most fun race I've ever raced in my life.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You've had some good runs in the little 500 too, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah.
I never finished. I only finished it once. I finished fourth for Dick Fuller, but I led it a bunch of times, and all the time we always have something break.
Yeah. That's like that race. I remember going to it as a kid with dad. It's like putting a bunch of let's put like 33 bees in a Coke can and just shaking it up, man.
Yep.
It's the best way to explain it because you're on lap traffic by like lap 3,
Yep.
So
And
yeah,
you gotta like to drive lap traffic, and that's me. I've always liked to drive traffic. So,
right, right. So is there anybody that you like to think throughout your career, your illustrious super modified career that you've
I mean,
over the years?
obviously my parents. I would have never been able to do this if it wouldn't have been for my parents. My brother, Terry. I mean, he was my main guy. I mean, he was the guy that I could always count on to make sure everything was right. And that kind of hurt when he left to go to Joe Gibbs. I was so happy that when he went to Joe Gibbs, but I mean that hurt our operation a little bit too. Uh, but then Mayfield came along and he started helping, and that kind of helped out a bunch. And then I got my family. I mean, you got Mike. I mean, the whole thing is a whole family deal. I mean, it was a family deal back now. Then it's a family deal back now. I
Yeah.
mean, you got Michael and Gina there. I mean, I love helping Michael. Uh, my kids, my grandkids. I got two of them that are racing quarter midgets, one that's playing ball, and I have one that's doing archery. So, I mean, they keep us very busy.
Yeah, no kidding. So Carrie Groom says Mickey ear ice cream? Question mark.
Oh yeah, Mickey ear ice cream. She knows me very well. So down, since we live in Florida and we're right there by Disney, we're usually over at Disney Spring 2 or 3 nights a week eating or listening to music. And I love Mickey ice cream bars.
Okay. Okay. All right. There you go. So he does have a guilty pleasure.
I do. I
It's all
do.
right. So, oh man. So, Doug, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on. This is a true honor. It was a pleasure to sit down and bench race with you and have everybody listen to your career that you've had throughout super modified racing. I always enjoy talking to you, and it's always fun. Always seeing you and having a great conversation with you. I never talked to you much as a kid, as a teenager, but as an adult, I really enjoy talking with you and just sharing good memories with you, man. And I appreciate you for calling you a friend now. And
Yeah.
I hope you have yourselves a great year with Mike. This is also Mike McVetta's father-in-law, folks. So if you guys don't know, so he's out there, he's measuring tires, and he's out there busting his ass, for Mike McVetta doing as good as he's doing, So, but Doug, thank you so much for coming
I
on
try.
here.
I try to get him there, but
Yeah.
sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. So
Well, all I got to say is this
I
is
appreciate it.
literally we got to take that bad luck off his back for Oswego. I don't know what it is. If we got to sacrifice some chickens outside or in the pits, but I'm all for it, man. He's got to get that bad luck of Oswego off his back. And so if you guys got any ideas, I'm all for it. But thank you guys very much. And thank you, Doug, for coming on here. It means so much. And I'll see you here in about 5 weeks.
All right. Take care. Thanks,
All right.
guys. It's good
All right,
seeing
see you,
everybody.
Doug. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Well, folks, I know we ran over by 10 minutes, but I just want to say thank you guys all so much for tuning in and listen to me go and listen to a childhood hero of mine go down memory lane and talk about some great times at Sandusky Speedway and Lorain County Speedway from back in the day. Doug was one of the most premier drivers there at Sandusky, and to get him on here on this show means a lot to me. To get anybody on this show, and I just want to go ahead and say thank you to all the guests that get on here. But I think you guys know that there's, some of the local drivers that I got to see every weekend. They do mean a lot to me. So with that being said, Dave, I'm tipping the bell, boy. I'm checking out. You guys, I love you, and I will see you guys next week.
Redline Network introduces our newest partnership, Outlaw Light. Outlaw is crafted for all of the beer drinking patrons of America. They aren't preaching or teaching. Their mission, plain and simple, to provide a high quality beer at an affordable price. Outlaw is crisp, crushable, refreshing. Available by the case, tall boys, 16-ounce six-packs or singles. Go to outlawbeer.com to find the nearest can or tavern near you. The Redline Network proudly raises their cans to you. Stay bold, Outlaw.